Rupert, Clara, Liam, Mahima. Hi, Scott.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for joining. Hi, Scott. Short hair. I can't believe it.
Hey. Yeah. Thank you. Nice to see you. Just wanted to say hello.
Nice to see you too. Okay, we maybe give it some more minutes until we start to give everybody the chance to get ready. Just some logistical information. So this is a 1-hour call about token engineering and designing value networks. Thanks for the invitation to Regens Unite to host this call and share more about this exciting new field of token engineering and the Token Engineering Academy. We'll have time for questions. In fact, I would love to run the session in an interactive way. Let's go over some major questions when it comes to value networks together, and this way derive a shared understanding of what we are talking about if we talk about token and value networks. Okay. Are we good to go, Caitlin? What do you think? Everybody ready? You can use the thumbs up. Yeah, thank you, Scott, Mahima. All right. And whenever you have a question, feel free to drop a message in the chat so that we can keep track of it and pick it up in the conversation or at the end of the call. All right, good. Let me share my slides. Yeah, this talk is about token engineering, a new crypto native engineering discipline and value networks. And again, we are really happy to be here and share this with the Regens Unite community. First, I'd like to give you an overview of what token engineering is. And maybe before I do that, let me introduce myself. I'm Angela, founder of the Token Engineering Academy. We started in 2020 with running first courses, looking at all the new crypto projects emerging and launching tokens since 2017, basically, and reviewing token designs, running first meetups, and then step by step building up a curriculum because this is we consider token engineering to be a new crypto native engineering discipline, in fact, in its own right. And since then, TE Academy has offered events and live as well as online courses. Our most important course is the TE Fundamentals course. We'll take a look at it together in the course of this session. And we have also an important announcement to make on the study season, a brand new program we launch next week, and we'd like to invite you to come on board and learn and discuss token engineering with us. All right. In a nutshell, token engineering is an emerging discipline focusing on the design, validation, and optimization of token-based economic systems. So it's about crypto token, it's about designing economic systems, and it's about not only the design, also the validation and optimization. And here we have entirely new opportunities compared to the traditional economic systems we use today. And token engineering, in fact, combines a number of existing disciplines. It starts with computer science and cryptography, so the fundamental software components we use to set up token systems. And then, already mentioned, it's about designing economies, so we need economics, game theory, and mechanism design. We also apply methods from industrial and systems engineering, since we are in fact building systems that are time time dependent. So these are dynamical systems. We embed the rules of these systems in code, digital systems, and we can apply methods we know from systems engineering like electrical engineering or even robotics to test and verify and optimize these systems. And that's new to economic systems. Then we have operations research and management science, so how to make decisions, and optimization and control theory, how to automatically balance systems or adapt and change, update systems. With the granularity of data available in shared ledgers like blockchains, we can apply methods from data science and AI to optimize these systems as we run these systems, so in real time or close to real time. And then at the lower end, in blue and green, we have the human layer, because here we are, as opposed to other engineering disciplines, we are not only talking about mechanical systems or electrical system, biological systems. We have the human element, meaning we have behavior, we have motivations, we have sometimes unexpected, weird behavior, we have attacks. And this leads us to psychology, decision science, also philosophy, law and ethics, and political science and governance. Think of DAO and decision-making in DAOs. And this is all part of token engineering. And this combination of fields is in fact very new. And you can't study something like that on no university. Still, I mean, 2020, we launched TE Academy because we saw the need for coming up with new educational programs. And still, well, if you look at universities, most of them still focus on the technical aspects, so covering the yellow elements, and it's still very hard to find proper education. So that was one of the reasons why we built Token Engineering Academy and designed an own educational program. We realized once we started discussing token design in our community, it's super simple to mint or transfer a token with just a couple of lines of code. But how to design and how to properly optimize towards certain objectives, this can't be studied on no university. It's a new crypto native discipline, and we decided to build our own educational program at TE Academy. And TE Fundamentals is actually the result of this vision, or a major step in this vision. It's the first bachelor level comprehensive educational program for token engineering available at TE Academy. It's free, no fees, thanks to grants from entities like Optimism DAO, ENS DAO, also investors and accelerators like Outlier Ventures, 1KX, and protocols like Ocean or Gnosis. And for us, it's super important to provide token engineering education as a public good. The whole crypto sector benefits. And at the same time, we want to make it open and accessible to anyone on the globe. Our students live in 21 time zones, so really all across the globe. We have study groups on our Discord in 14 languages, and we think that the diversity of students will ultimately result in better, more creative, more innovative, fair, transparent, and robust token systems. And that's why we put a lot of emphasis and also a lot of work into making our program as accessible as possible to anyone. Okay, let me quickly walk you through what TE Fundamentals is, this course, because it also gives you a good overview of the token engineering design process. So the first module, and you can find this on tokenengineering.net, is an introduction to token engineering, curated list of 5 of the most influential papers on this new discipline, and an introductory video by all the authors. It gives you a perspective on what challenges we face in token engineering and how we address them. The second step or the second module is module 2, discovery. And here we walk you through the exploration of the system's purpose and goals, system requirements, how you explore stakeholders and their motivation, how to come up with first ideas for rewards. Then you take next steps in designing the value flows. We look at causalities and feedback loops in the system, and then take first steps in the mechanism design. And the third module, which is called the design module, we translate these findings from the discovery phase in human language to a mathematical specification, algorithms, and we define the action space, variables, and system states, and define performance indicators that are important for the fourth phase. We call it deployment, where we build up a computational model. So we create a digital twin of the system and start simulations and experiments to iterate on the system design, because typically token systems tend to become complex. They are dynamic, they change over time. And for token design, it's not sufficient anymore to run spreadsheet models like we set a fee to X%, and then we can foresee the outcome. Instead, we have to run simulations where we have certain parameters and a certain way how these transactions and parameters come into play to understand and observe the KPIs and find vulnerabilities, find system states that lead to a break or a collapse of the system, and find the optimal parameter setting. So this is deployment. And module 5 is governance. This is an introduction to governance for token engineers to be able to design token-based governance. We need this for DAOs and decentralized organizations. We discuss algorithms as policy because our requirements of the new challenge for the governance of token-based systems is that we have to embed the rules and the policies in code. The idea of a governance surface, polycentric governance, and voting systems. This is module 5. And all these 5 modules are available as an online course, as mentioned, on tokenengineering.net. You can enroll and study at any time. The program is free. Minting an NFT certificate as a proof of knowledge is charged with a fee. And yeah, we have launched this program in October 2022. And since then, we have around 3,700 students enrolled in this program. 1,000 exams passed. So you complete any module with an exam, and then based on that, you are eligible to mint your NFT. And the background of students who are enrolled is a combination of economics, computer science, engineering, data science, mathematics. These are, let's say, the largest groups of students, but we also have people with a background in design, in political science, contributors to DAOs, to new forms of organizations, community developers who are interested in how to design token systems. Here are some pictures. We are facilitating peer-to-peer study groups. So you meet on our Discord with other members of our community, and in the study season with token engineering practitioners and researchers. And we, let's say, part of our vision is knowledge and education is not a zero-sum game. If we share knowledge, we grow the knowledge in our community and for this new discipline. And that's why peer-to-peer learn and help others to learn is really important to us. I think we have a background noise. So if you please switch off your mic, and yes, switch on your mic if you have any questions. Kayla, maybe you can take care.
Yes, I'm trying to mute. Sorry, David, but it's not letting me mute him as an admin. David, could you turn your mic off?
Okay.
We can proceed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the proof of knowledge we mint and issue are NFTs, non-transferable. With these NFTs, our students build up their personal token engineering track record, and we as a community build up a social graph of relationships and knowledge and can observe how this discipline evolves and how our community evolves. And we also use it for decision-making and voting power in our community. There are more contributions, not only studying, like co-authors have a different NFT and NFT weights, and also speakers in our events, or at, for example, at EFCC, where we run a dedicated token engineering track. We did this in 2023 and have a dedicated track again in 2024. So if you have the chance to come or be in Brussels, which I guess there we have a pretty strong Regens Unite community, make sure to meet us at the token engineering track day at EFCC, July 10th, I think, in Brussels. Okay. Some of our partners, just to give you the full picture, oops. Yeah, as I mentioned, we try to be in touch on a daily, weekly basis with token engineering researchers and practitioners who actively work on crypto projects, because we think the crypto space is moving so fast, and we have to be very close to the challenges we face today and come up with solutions and integrate this in our learning and also the development of the field. Okay. This was the first part, and the second part should be more interactive. I'd like you to share your thoughts, and I'll come up with some prompts. But before we do that, maybe we check any questions so far about TE fundamentals, token engineering as a discipline. Feel free to switch on your mic or just raise your hand, drop a message to the chat.
We had one question during your presentation, but it's already been answered, so all good.
Okay. All right. Good. Let's continue with designing value networks. Here, I'd like to do a little reverse engineering exercise and talk about token utility, action space and incentives, and value capture and purpose. This is, in a sense, to me, the essence of designing value networks. We have to think about what's the purpose of the system, how we capture value, define the action space and incentives. We get to that in a moment, and the token utility. Let's start here, token utility. Here's a screen with a number of tokens. You might know some of them. And my first question to you, anybody who's open and willing to provide an answer in the chat or via the mic, what can you do with these tokens? Pick a token you know, and what can you do with these tokens? Just from top of your head. There's no wrong or right. Let's just share some functions of the token. Store value, Liam, right? Can payments, perfect. You can pay gas to the network, all right. You can, if you want, or sometimes you have to, no? Okay, yes, you can pay. Program them, Liam, that's also perfect. Programmable money, the huge important paradigm of crypto tokens. You can stake, yes, you can lock your tokens and earn rewards. You can vote with your tokens perfectly. Participate in DeFi activities. Brilliant. I mean, there are many, Mahima, maybe you want to add some more, because sometimes DeFi, the functions of tokens in DeFi is already pretty confusing. As there are so many options: liquidity mining, lending, staking, restaking. So these are all activities and names of activities, sometimes from the traditional finance sector, sometimes new, to, in most cases, earn rewards based on providing and sharing tokens with others, like lending or liquidity mining. Add liquidity to exchanges, pools, token pools. All right. Yeah, perfect. So we already got a range of what can we do. And actually, what's important to keep in mind, tokens can serve as a medium of exchange, unit of account, store of value. They provide utility in many forms. And the design space of tokens is really huge. So it's programmable money. It can have monetary value, but think of our NFT certificates. We can also program these certificates so that they are minted based on certain criteria. They are burned based on certain criteria. We can keep track of them. So whenever a wallet holds or has held, even in the past, we can acquire information about the whole journey of a token. And this is something we can make use of and use this in designing incentives and designing the whole system, actually. Okay, any questions or any comments you would like to make? So I guess we all signal an identity. NFTs, think of it can be also like a passport to grant you access rights. This is actually a good addition. Thanks for mentioning, Daryl. Affiliation with a group, tokens as money, is so boring. I mean, I agree. The design space is really huge, and it goes way beyond the pure form of money or a means for payments. Show solidarity, right? Signal support, signal membership. And that's great. Thanks for mentioning all these aspects. And again, let's keep in mind we have a huge design space. The tokens can serve as money. They can grant access rights. They can grant access or other rights like governance, decision-making rights. And we should be creative. And whenever I see projects being creative about tokens in a context like it's membership or it's aligning activities, it's always great to see. And there's so much more we can do. Okay, very cool. Now, let's take the next step: action space and incentives. First, my first question is what do you think, what are we referring to if we say action space? Any thoughts? And feel free to switch on your mic, so you don't have to only write. What is action space? Range of potential actions available, moves available. Oh yeah, moves available. GA, would you like to switch on your mic and just say some more words about what you mean here?
Yeah. So, right, tokens might grant permissions, and those permissions might enable me to make some form of moves in the sense of game design, right?
Okay, yeah. If you say game design, can you give us an example?
Yeah. So I have an item, an elixir, right, and that might grant me the move of heal +5, right? I have an enchanted item, a scroll, and that might give me an area of effect enchantment over that space. So, that type of shit.
That type of shit, exactly. So what we should keep in mind is an action space means that in token systems, you are not free to do anything. Instead, we have to think about very precisely what moves are available and what moves players or users can take under certain conditions. And this sounds simple, but in case you've ever tried to design a simple, game on a piece of paper, or maybe even a tiny little computer game, you maybe saw that it tends to be very complex for two reasons. Number one, the precision we need in digital systems. So it's either or. In human, real world interaction, we are many times not even aware how wide the action space is for us. There are so many, just in this call, if I ask you, JA, what you mean with the game design, I can do this in so many different ways, right? You can decide to switch on your camera or not. You can formulate what you mean in so many different ways. And then it's up to everybody to interpret. And this is all not possible in the digital world. We have to be very specific of what is doable, how to encode this, and even the routes we take in encoding is a decision on the action space. Like, for example, if we want to, and if someone has to switch on a camera to say something, like in our little game today, or if this is optional. And this is what I mean with a digital action space. We have to be very specific with the actions that are allowed. And then there's another reason why this is a challenge in the digital world, because we not only have to think of allowed actions, we also have to think of vulnerabilities and attacks. So what actions to exclude. And game theory is a whole science thinking about and discussing and exploring how to make sure that a certain policy cannot be gamed, result in the expected result, limits, attack vectors, and so on. And this is a short overview on the challenge in defining an action space. Now let's take a look at the second item here, incentives. Can you guys give me examples of incentives? What do we mean with incentives in token systems? Again, drop messages in the chat or switch on your mic. Okay. Oh, here we... Okay, Liam, I get back to your question maybe later, because this sounds like we should discuss. Engage to earn, okay, incentives. Play to earn, right? Motivation for good actions and demotivation for bad action. Very good. Natishi, would you like to add some more details to your note in the chat? A very good comment, I must say.
Sure. Good morning or good afternoon for everybody. So yeah, what I'm trying to say here is that as a complex system and having many actors with different willings or needs or things they want to take or bring into the, in this case, maybe the ecosystem, they will need different things to motivate continue using and doing the right thing if we want to keep them and have their loyalty, but also demotivate for doing bad actions like selling the token or speculating with not adding value. So you need like to think in both ways, like how to make them happy and have the motivation to keep using and building, do the right thing, but also keep out the bad actors or try to limit their damage if they are doing something wrong.
Perfect. That's brilliant. Exactly. We have incentives in two directions, right? We want to encourage and motivate for good and valuable actions and contributions. and demotivate or even punish bad actions. Can anybody of you give us an example? Slashing. Daryl, welcome. Could you elaborate on slashing? Because this is a form of disincentivize or negative incentives. Daryl.
I'm definitely not an expert on this.
No problem.
However, I'm familiar with slashing in the case of proof of stake. For if nodes don't follow the proper procedures, so on, they may lose lose some tokens.
Exactly. So staking and slashing is let's say one of the most important primitives we have in token land. It's like you have to, if you make a bet or if you make a prediction or if you apply to be part of something, you stake or lock tokens to participate with the risk that in case, for example, you did not make a true claim, or your answer is not verifiable, or any other requirements were not met, or you are just not the winner of, it could be a voting, or it could be any other game. In these cases, your stake is going to be slashed. And this is a very popular and well-explored method in game theory and mechanism design to encourage and incentivize players, participants in the network to do the right thing, to, for example, vote according to true values or act according to the policies set up. Slashing, a negative incentive. Let's review. When Ahmed added, when you stake and run a validator, you're rewarded with tokens, but you are also punished with slashing, right? Funds being lost if you are proven to show bad action. Exactly. Okay, cool. Liam, you've added another form of an incentive, social file. Add some more words, please, Liam, if you like, switch on your mic.
Again, no expert, but a couple of projects that I've been following over the last several months, and one that I actually got involved with is a coin that's launched to kind of capitalize on the gaming market, and they, as part of the marketing campaign up to launch, had a big social fire experiment where people were kind of had a dashboard, and for tweets would earn multipliers, etc., and had the opportunity to earn crystals, which eventually kind of in some way converted to like a token on the TG event.
Cool. So you could, there were some social activities, and there was this opportunity to be rewarded with tokens, right?
Yeah, the tokens came. They were incentivized through maybe like badges within the social fire experiment that then converted to tokens. So you earned something that wasn't a token that then they condensed down at the point of TG, and based on kind of reach and various other metrics were that you got kind of it converted into tokens.
Okay. Now here, thanks for sharing, Liam. I have another question. Looking at these two examples, like slashing and staking for, let's say, node operators, where staking is a reward to secure the network, actually, and to maintain the network, to mint the next blocks and include transactions, number one. And number two, rewards for making social posts. Is there any difference you see in these two forms? Like properties of these two examples of token incentives and the actions required.
I'm sorry, did you say my name?
I didn't say, but maybe Ahmed, if you like to just share what you think, do it.
So May I ask you to repeat?
Yeah, I repeat. So we discussed example 1 for token incentive is reward staking and also slash staking for node operators. And node operators secure a token system, secure a blockchain. They include transactions, mint the next block, and that's one form of value add in the system. This is example 1. And example 2 is what Liam just mentioned. Token rewards for making social posts. I mean, with these badges in between and then ultimately land at token rewards. Do you see any qualitative difference between those two?
Hard to say, hard to say.
No worries. Again, no wrong or right. Just share your thoughts. Anybody? On and off-chain actions, Daryl. Okay, yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
One
Oh,
is
another
very
good one.
direct. One is
Okay.
very direct, right? The securing of the network
Okay.
is like very operational, and the other one is very indirect. It's for sure nice to have, but like it will accelerate the project, but it will not fundamentally do anything. It won't break the project. Right?
Okay,
Anybody
yeah.
else?
Yeah, makes sense. Thanks, GA. Natishi is sharing something in the chat. First example today is connected more to economic incentives, money, while the second one can be an internal token used for a protocol to exchange utility. Natishi, can you elaborate a little bit? Particularly the second one. What do you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. So on the first example, these proof of stake blockchains are using their native token or a token that is connected really with money or with a value that can be also used to exchange with other tokens as well, because what they want to do at the end, it's like take value that way. The node, it's like working to ensure the safe and quality of the blockchain. But in the other example, if I correctly understood, you are mentioning more like social, how to incentivize social or quality posting in social communities. So in that case, I think that token can be more a utility token in terms of they can have access to special events, or they can gain reputation internally in the community, but that maybe not be connected with money value. Like it's more like an internal benefit they can have, but not connected with an economic incentive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess here we could discuss for minimum an hour if this is related to economic utility, but in general, also good thoughts. Thanks for sharing, and definitely right direction. There was a third one that I also want to highlight, but first let's talk about this idea of economic incentives. Also GA mentioned it. In the first, I mean, in both cases, you could argue that both activities, sharing on social, second example, increase network and guarantee network security in the first example, is increasing the value of the network, no doubt. And that's what it's all about. Incentive design should increase the value of the network or is most efficient. And we are seeking to define action spaces that not only are some action spaces, that are action spaces that provides value to users, and then at the same time incentivize or provides options and incentives to add value to the total network. And things like securing the network is a very important aspect. Things like maintain trust in the network, be it a blockchain or be it a social network, is also an important contribution. And then the actual value proposition, and we get to that when it comes to purpose. So what are we here for? What should all these action spaces lead to? What's the purpose of the system? This is a very important aspect to keep in mind. So design incentives, design action spaces that contribute to the growth of the value of the network in terms of it's valuable to use, it provides functionality, it caters the stakeholders' needs, etc. And the second aspect that is also very important to keep in mind, since we are talking about digital systems, is the Darrell's comment on and off-chain actions. This is sometimes easy to oversee because it feels so obvious. So number one, in blockchain systems, we try to establish on-chain actions to be transparent, to maintain this shared ledger, to leverage all the opportunity that actually permissionless, decentralized, transparent blockchain offers and Web3 ecosystem offers. At the same time, many actions in crypto network don't really make sense to be put on chain, or even are impossible to put on chain. And this comes with a price, because the number one, off-chain actions are actually what we are aiming for when it comes to verification. And verification is oftentimes something needed if we want to reward, right? Then we want to have an open ledger of transactions to reward these transactions. If something is on Twitter, we can still verify, but it's a different, let's say, a different form of verifiable knowledge. And once, let's just say, X doesn't provide the information about past retweets or posts, we are just missing this data and missing an important element to that our incentives are based on. In permissionless, decentralized systems, these transactions should be trackable for forever. This is number one. And number two, anything that happens off-chain, and many times, particular in, let's say, communities, behavior, transactions, actions take place not even as any digital transaction. I give you an example. You might have heard about praise. Praise is a way to incentivize each other in a crypto community. And it works like, or the beauty of praise is that it doesn't predefine the action space. So basically, you can reward someone with praise that did you a favor, that gave you or made an introduction, or pointed you to an important document. All this might be in a conversation, non-digital transactions, non-digital actions. And you say thank you with, there's, for example, you could use it on Discord and integrate a bot and then do some certain commands and then say thank you with a praise. And this can be translated actually in a token reward or attestations very similarly. And here, the beauty of it is that we don't limit, we don't have this well-specified action space in praise. It's way more open and more flexible. But the trouble is how to translate this huge and undefined action space to actual rewards. Because at some point you have to say, this favor was worth 5 tokens. And the community has to agree on it, right? Or give someone the right to make this definition. And here we can easily run into troubles to whenever we translate off-chain transactions online, so on off-chain transactions and even non-digital actions into a token value and in incentives. Make sense? Oh, cool. Build a project looking to turn boring governance into art rewards. Nice. Okay. Just a first should give you a first glimpse on the challenge in action-based design and incentives. And now finally, value capture and purpose. And this is the fundament of anything we do when creating token networks. First, value capture. Maybe think again about a token example and how do token holders participate in the network's growth of value? How is value captured? Any ideas here? Final round. Numbers go up, Scott. Say some more words about this. Ooh, when, yes, like it does these days. Okay, numbers go up, token value accrues, which leads automatically to value contributions to a network. Question, any ideas? If numbers go up, like today, will this lead to better, more contributions to the networks? Yes or no? Any ideas? Any comments?
I mean, maybe if we're giving out the tokens for the rewards for growing the network, it all depends on what specific actions you're incentivizing.
Right. True. So there are, I guess we all have seen, if you ever looked at token exchange rates and were active yourself, maybe with buying tokens or be active and earn incentives, there were two forms. So numbers go up. Okay, this could be just because of the market. And all you can do is just buying a tokens. I mean, in early stage for most of the protocols or projects, you can simply invest in tokens, buy tokens, hold them, sell them. Even this could lead to a significant return. And there's a second form where you buy a token and you can do stuff and you can earn more tokens, and this multiplies then, of course, your returns when in parallel the token value goes up. Okay. Hodling, Liam, what is hodling? Maybe for those who haven't heard about this term.
If you have tokens and projects that you have high conviction around, by holding them, you're kind of supporting the project, but rather than by crashing the floor by dumping tokens, especially if you've kind of received them kind of at an early stage based on variable factors on when you were able to buy in or whatever.
Yeah.
And then a lot of tokens that I've seen have maybe propped up by institutional investment, so that and their tokens, perhaps even at TG, there's kind of small amounts unlocked, and then through the token design, have them locked up over certain periods and have different things, different value added to the utility of the token through that stage, so that people who do have different utilities are able to benefit or in their own ways and make decisions that kind of don't crash the token, and that so perhaps by holding you're helping grow the value.
Yeah, agree. And I guess you were also referring to vesting, like token investors, early buyers of a token cannot spend their tokens immediately. These tokens are locked and vested over time, right? This is all true. Now, I wonder, what do you think are we referring to when it comes to value capture? So we've heard about, okay, value accrue of token, people invest or buy tokens, hold them, hodl them, and benefit, participate in the value accrue, fees. Daryl, why fees?
I'm thinking about all the talk that's happened in the Uniswap ecosystem for turning on the fee switch, where people are taking actions on Uniswap to swap tokens.
Yeah.
Fees that are associated that are then captured by Uniswap and distributed to token holders.
Right. A very good example, spot on. So with value capture, we aim, first of all, in decentralized systems, we aim to let token holders participate in the value created. So that's number one. And value capture, here the Uniswap example is a nice one, very straightforward. The protocol starts to collect fees from users for certain transaction, but instead of just keeping it as a centralized company corporate structure, we redistribute this value to token holders. And on top of that, the growing value leads to an increase of the token price, very often because the demand increases. This leads us to the second part. This requires, to let token holders participate in the value created, you have to capture the value somehow. The network token provides exclusive rights. So this is important to keep in mind. The distribution of Uniswap fees is tied to, for example, the Uni token. Can be also for those who are providing liquidity, but let's focus on the Uni token for now. This value capture and redistribution that is tied to exclusive rights on the native token, on the network tokens, is a prerequisite to be able to capture token and capture value and redistribute it. So just by setting up token rewards and just by defining an action space or just by launching a token, you can't capture value. You have to think about forms of how to capture this value, how to redistribute it, and how to tie it to rights of your native tokens. And similarly, if we only have a network that is accepting all kinds of third-party tokens, it's fine, it's useful, but it hasn't the capacity to capture value. Okay, and then finally, the purpose of the tokens is important to keep in mind here, because value capture is guided by the purpose of the ecosystem. And whenever we think about the design of utility, we have to start with the purpose of the network. We have to think about how to capture value in this network and then go down the routes of defining an action space, of incentives, and of token utility. And this is a process that is not done by, it's not a one-off task and then you're done. It's a process of designs and redesigns, sometimes even token relaunches over years and years, and it basically never stops. And of course, if we think of these token networks are actually social networks, the purpose of the network or the underlying value proposition might change over time, and tokens and the mechanism design has to react and adapt to these changes. Okay. Thanks for adding all your thoughts. I enjoyed the conversation. Overall, token engineering is this value capture and purpose, actions based on incentives, token utility design, and it's an iterative process, as I said. And to sum this up, if you'd like to learn more about this, I invite you to come to tokenengineering.net, join our community, start learning token engineering. And I'd like to invite you to subscribe to Token Engineering Reads, where we share the latest developments in the field, because I mean, in crypto, so much is going on. The space is moving so fast, and it's so exciting to observe where we are today compared to the token designs we knew 1 year ago and what might be coming up in the next month. So this is Token Engineering Reads. And finally, we'll launch the study season 2024 next week. This is a cohort-based program, so you can learn online for yourself, as mentioned, with TE fundamentals. But in April, we'll kick off the next study season with virtual sessions where you can meet your fellow students, learn together. We invite token engineering practitioners and researchers to come up with lectures, and we have the first fellowship program to award talents in our ecosystem, support them in continue their studies and sharing their knowledge. And more details to be announced next week. If you register to the study season, you also have the chance to win a free ticket and meet us at the token engineering track at EFCC. I hope, Caitlin, maybe you can drop the link to our Twitter. Yes, and I don't know if we can also share the subscription link so that you get all the information about study seasons directly to your inbox. Otherwise, just follow us on Twitter and yeah, subscribe and join us in the study season. Minimum time investment required is 3 hours per week, and you are free to design your own learning program. So if you have a lot of time, you can join all the session and promise you can spend 24/7 on learning token engineering. But we can have foster or cater your learning targets and goals. Okay, there's a subscription, and yeah, hope to see you at TE Academy in April.